You have everything that you need right in front of you. Don't believe it? We're going to go through all the many things that pass by us every day that are opportunities in disguise, waiting for us to take advantage of them. Maybe you've been waiting for circumstances to align, to get to a certain place before you launch that idea, before you take that chance, before you move forward with whatever you would like to be doing, but you feel like it's impossible, it's unrealistic, and you don't have what you need. We're going to look at the fact that you probably do, and it's probably staring you right in the face right now. So let's take a look at that and discuss today on the Daily Dance.
Welcome to the Daily Dance with your host, Brad Richardson.
Welcome, everybody, to the Daily Dance. It is Friday, July 24th, and I'm very grateful to have you watching. And we're going to dive into some things away from some of the nuts and bolts of business that we've been looking at recently and get back into trying to find some encouragement in life, just in the things around us, and not fluff, not encouragement in the way of, I want to give you a pat on the back and just make you feel better. I want to give you something substantial that you can change your life with by just some certain little habits that you can change. And I know, because I've seen it in my own life, I've seen it in others. It's not a secret, but we want to revisit it. Okay. So this is the Daily Dance. You can find us on YouTube and on LinkedIn and on X and on Rumble, and love it if you would find us on Locals. Sign up for a Locals account and become part of a community there. We'd love to build that community and have good discussions around the topics that we bring up here. But part of the Daily Dance is, as the name implies, we do our daily dance. The daily dance is that when you start your day, or before you start your work day, preferably, you do a little dance before you walk out the door or before you go into that first meeting. And you do it just to get yourself up and ready for the day. It changes your mindset. It changes your mood, or it can. It is silly, can make you feel silly. But that's part of the point. We don't want to take ourselves too seriously, but we do want to take what we discuss very seriously. So before we forget, let's go ahead and do our daily dance. All right, danced up and ready to go. So today's topic, what is today's topic? It is, hold on just a second. It is everything you need. Everything you need. Everything you need is in front of you. Everything you need is at hand. And when I say that, I want to be careful to mention that I am thinking, yes, mainly in terms of the US, but especially in the West. In general, I'm going to say the US because, guys, that's where I live. So, your mileage may vary where else you live, but I think it's pretty safe to say in the Western world as a whole, we have a lot of opportunities, especially looking in the historical context. We have a lot of resources available to us. We have, most of us are not battling for survival, and I mean, literal survival. I know a lot are paycheck to paycheck, but I'm talking the extremes of human history. Most of us haven't had to deal with in the same way. And please believe me, I know what it is to be poor. But that's what I'm basing this on. I'm going back and looking back on my own life and understanding now with a little bit more time and wisdom, seeing the opportunities that I missed because I thought I didn't have what I needed. I thought I uh, was disadvantaged in some way because I didn't have the money or connections, or because of where I lived, or uh, how I grew up, whatever it is, I shortchanged myself. And as I've been looking back, especially on my growing up years, um, I grew up in a small town in Northern California, but I grew up in the same town as Guy Fieri, who was a couple years ahead of me in school. And look at what Guy has gone on to do. And yet, when I was growing up, I would have told you as an immature young person that things like that, those are like moonshots, and it seems so far out there. And I even had some opportunities myself. My dad was a businessman and was willing to help get started, help fund one business idea, small business idea I had for there in town when I was in high school, and I didn't follow through on it. I just didn't have that faith in the end, that willingness to take that risk. I don't know what it was exactly. We can break some of that down. We'll try to. It's probably different for everybody in every situation. But I there was nothing holding me back. I've talked, and I had worlds of opportunity. Small town, it's easy to think, oh, it's a small town, so therefore I don't have as much opportunity. And I would argue the opposite. You have different opportunities, and you definitely have a lot of opportunity to try and do a lot more things sometimes than people in larger areas because there isn't as much competition. In our town, you kind of had run of the town as a young person. There were loads of things that you could have reached out and said, well, I want to try this. I want to experience that. I want to help with this. And everybody would have been willing. And everybody would have thrown in, and you would have had those opportunities then. But I didn't see. I saw the limitations instead of the opportunities. You see where I'm going with this. And it's the same way I've talked before about my thoughts about Elon Musk and how Elon and I are about the same age. And as I read his story, I don't see where he had any additional advantage over me, except that he worked, he tried, he when I was just playing video games, he was playing video games. He was also writing video games. I could have learned to code and I could have done that. I didn't. I made a choice and it set me on a path, right? The risks that he took, all that. He didn't have any advantage, materially speaking, that I can see over me, and yet he's ended up as the wealthiest man in the world. And I'm, have a good life, decent life, but it's been a lot harder than it needed to be for me and my family because of wrong mindsets that hindered me. So when I preface everything that way, just so you know, I'm not pointing fingers, and you can be saying you don't understand my circumstance, and you're right, I don't. And there are more extreme circumstances, I get it. But in general, I think almost every place where we grow up, every situation we're living in, there's opportunities that we can take advantage of to further our careers and our lives and benefit those that we love. So let's dive in deeper. Part of the reason that I think that we miss those opportunities is because opportunities come as ingredients and not meals. Okay, right? It's like we're looking for the pre-made, maybe DoorDash, a opportunity, something to drop in your lap that you can see it from beginning to end. It's going to succeed. There's that guaranteed return, and we want it all laid out. And opportunities don't come that way. Opportunities come as ingredients. There's usually ingredients, the ingredients around you. There's stepping stones right in front of you to get where you want to go, but they are just stepping stones. Yes, it isn't the final thing, but there are stepping stones. You want to be a professional musician. Well, you can start practicing right now. You can save up money to get your first instrument, then you start practicing, then you play out, then you do, and it's going to take years. and you have to stay committed to it, and it's going to take some work. But the ingredients are there if you're willing to take those ingredients and put in the effort. And that is a big difference, as a lot of other very smart people have pointed out. The big difference is those who are willing to put in the work and stay with it. Put in the work and stay with it. But it helps, I think, to recognize first that stop looking at, if you're not seeing opportunities, it's probably because you're looking for things that are too fully developed and too already there. And what you need to be looking for is ingredients. You need to learn to spot what are there ingredients, are there pieces here, is there something here that's going to let me get started moving in that direction. And sometimes that's even just an unrelated job or other opportunity that's going to allow you to save the money that will give you the resources to get going. But whatever it is, there are opportunities there in front of you. And a lot of times it comes in the guise of experience. There's volunteer opportunities where you can volunteer and help someone and jump in, and it may get you experience that you need to move further along in the thing that you want to do. And so you see, it's these small little ingredients, and we despise those small beginnings too often. We do. We look at them and maybe we feel it's beneath us, or I don't have the time for that, or can't you see I'm trying to do, I have this big dream, so I don't have time for this small little insignificant thing. You see that? You see that mindset? There's a pride there that actually gets in the way of us achieving the big thing. We have to be humble enough to be willing to take the opportunities in front of us and maximize those. And that's another thing that plays out then in the way that I look at things, even once you're in, working in business, small, medium, large businesses, corporate America. And we talk obviously a lot about technology and software on here. And it's that same idea of how we want to maximize what's right in front of us. We want to maximize the tools that we already have. You open up the cupboard and you just, if you're making dinner at night, and sometimes you're just opening up the cupboard and seeing what ingredients you have, right? And then that's helping to dictate what you're going to have for dinner, what meal you're going to make. And are you going to have dinner? Yes. Is it going to be exactly what you wanted right now, today? Probably not. But does it accomplish today's purposes, and does it get you to tomorrow? Yes. And you learn something in the process of making that meal that will go into making the next. And so that's why it's important to maximize the opportunities that are in front of you, recognize the opportunities, and software is a very good example, because many times we don't even know everything the software that we already have on our computers can do. We live in a day and age where the computing power and the software that we have is amazing and can do incredible things, but most of us only know a fraction of what it can even do. We have not explored because maybe those features aren't useful to us right now. But here's the thing, they may be useful to you down the road. And if you learn about them now, when the opportunity comes to leverage what your tools can do, then you'll be ready. You'll look like a genius because you know that it has those capabilities, and you won't waste time shopping for another tool or waiting for another time or another opportunity to be able to get done what you're trying to get done. You see what I'm saying? It's there is so much right around you. And that also goes with people, contacts. You have no idea the people that you know, what all they are capable of, what they can do, their abilities, or even their contacts. Because a lot in life is just who you know, and that's not a bad thing. That's not necessarily just some kind of elite club that you can't get into. It can be that, but many times it's just a matter of who we know and personal recommendations. There's safety there, and so the people that you know can make a huge difference. Okay, so example. And well, I guess this plays into my second point. So, but first, so ingredients, not meals, are what we're starting out looking for. But then don't be picky. When we started doing music, I was looking for ways for us to be able to play out and build our audience without necessarily having to do the opening act scene. And nothing wrong with being an opening act for other people, but it comes with its own downsides as well. And frankly, it was just a lot more fun to be able to do your own shows. And so we were able to go out and play for groups, mostly recovery groups, around the nation. And and so we needed to be content with the fact that, look, we're going to have really small crowds. The advantage of opening for other groups is you can get in front of a lot of people right away. This is really small crowds, but it was an opportunity to be a blessing to them, and for us to build up a community and audience around our music. And one of the ways that was able to happen was because I got a recommendation, just a simple recommendation letter from our worship pastor. Okay, because this was all being birthed out of our church there, and that recommendation letter carried us a long way. Now, all that can sound really simple. It can sound really simple, and there might be a lot of people that would look at that and go, "That's why would you do that?" It's not big crowds, not big lights, but there were other advantages. It gave us a chance to learn how to put on our own shows. It gave us a chance to learn how to be uh, good guests when we went in and left a city, and so many other advantages as we went. So, but if we had been too picky and been like, oh well, that's not the life that we're looking for. That's not the thing. Where's the big crowds? Where's the big show? I'd love to do big shows, but this is where we were, and you can't be picky. It's what was in front of us. It was something we could do, and we had the tools to do right then, and so we did, and it was a blast and great memories that helped get us further down the line, and hopefully we're a blessing to everyone involved too at the same time. So don't be picky. Don't despise small beginnings. Be willing to see the small things around you that you can do now, and don't be too high-minded that you let those things pass you by. And then once you're identifying these things, you're identifying these opportunities, and you're finding what's in the cupboard, what you can do right now with your abilities and tools, then don't be afraid of a little work. Okay, it does come down many times to just being willing to work. And I think the analogy with the baking and cooking kind of goes with that, because when you are just finding the ingredients, you are going to have to put the work in to put them all together, right? It's not just being delivered to your door for you to eat right now. You are having to put in the work to make the meal. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. You are learning. You are learning when you put that work in. You are learning as you assemble things. And as you get further on in your career, you may never need to do that again. But I can almost guarantee you that whatever you learn at the early stages like this, where you're having to do a lot more yourself, that's going to help inform your decisions that come later. The bigger decisions, you're going to have a lot more confidence, and you're going to make a lot better decisions because of all this. And again, a lot of other advantages. But that's why this whole process is beneficial. But so much of it starts back with step one, and that is those ingredients, realizing that you have everything you need. And why I say that, this is not to put a burden on you, but to remove a barrier, because the barrier in our minds is that it won't be good enough, it will be silly, it will be this, that, or the other thing. We see other people so much further along, and we think we have to be at the same phase as them now, and you don't. If you can take a breath and look around you now and see what you have, and start to be faithful now with those little things and the little opportunities around you, you'll be shocked how quickly you move along. If there's anything of value to what you're doing, it will grow quickly. And the nice thing about this is that you will find out how to change direction, how to alter things, how to refine things in this stage so that you can get to greater and greater success later. So look for ingredients, not meals. Try not to be picky about the opportunities that you act on. And don't be afraid of a little work when you find those opportunities. Understand that you do have, and for example, a lot of the gear I'm using for this, I've started doing this because I had the experience in business. I have mics and different gear from doing music as well, and I've even been looking at the book collection that I have and how many books that I've meant to read that I haven't. And if I took the time and actually invested and read so many of those, how much better advice would I be able to give? How much more successful could I be? And it's just like when I'm thinking about growing up. If I could go back now and talk to younger me, I would say, my goodness, Brad, you have so many things you could do, and it would be a blast. You could have you could try this, you could try that, a solo risk at that point, and it could just be fun. It would just be fun. And if things don't work out and you fail, so what? So what? It's not always just in getting there and having success. Learning, having experiences that teach you, that's its own success too. And we need to be mindful of that. We need to keep that mindset. Because and maybe as just an add bonus, I think that plays into be careful about who you're trying to impress. Be careful about who you're trying to impress. What audience are you playing to in your mind? Also, that may be holding you back from taking risks and trying. But doing this, the risks that you take should be minimal to start out, or could be minimal to start out, as if you're just looking at the tools that you have, the abilities that you currently have, what you can currently do, ask the question, what can I do right now? What can I do right now? And that brings us to our homework, which is essentially that. Do an opportunity inventory. What can you do right now? What are you able to do right now? And that is it's a powerful mindset. And sometimes it takes sitting still, being quiet, quieting the noise around you, taking a look around, going through everything in your mind. What do I have? What can I do right now? And don't talk yourself out of it, because it'll be easy to say, well, that's not enough. I need to move faster. I want to be further along. If you talk yourself out of it, you'll never get there. So you have to discipline yourself to put those thoughts off, and instead just do your inventory, find what you can do, and then start doing that until you have something better to do. And, if you get a better opportunity, then yes, absolutely jump. But for now, do what you can do. Do what's right in front of you. Okay? So look for ingredients, not completed meals. Don't be picky, and then don't be afraid of a little work. And taking all that knowledge with you, go ahead and do an opportunity inventory of your life, and see where you are and see what's available to you, and make the most of it each day, and then just be faithful with that every day and see where it takes you. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be able to speak with everyone. I'm thankful that you would take the time, and I hope that it's a benefit to you. If it is, please pass it on. I'm not planning on really doing any big advertising or anything like that with this little show. If it becomes more, it'll be because of people like you who recommend it to others. So please pass it on to your friends and family and coworkers. And not every episode is for everyone, but we have a lot of episodes up now, so there may be something there for them that would be an encouragement and help them along. Remember, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on LinkedIn and X and Rumble. And as always, we would love it if you would get an account on Locals and subscribe to our channel there. Become part of that community, wanting to build a community so that we can have conversations around these topics. That would be great. So thank you so much for those watching live or for watching on Friday here. I hope you have a great weekend. And until next time, remember to always keep